Unfortunately, this bike has no walk assist, so I'm pushing it up this hill, but I have a beautiful view. Just taking a brief moment there. I don't know if you can see it. The mountain range there and the beautiful sunrise colors. And that's why I'm pushing, because you're not allowed to bike up or down this path. I don't know if you see that eagle back there. Just the other day I was filming and an eagle was following me while biking. A humongous eagle just around this area. It was really cool. Look at that. Someone just left. That's how you know you're in a rich country. Someone just left its scooter there. Okay, good morning. I hope you can hear me. It's quite windy. Today I am taking my hopefully more routine bike tour in the morning, early morning. It's nice and cold, 15 degrees. It used to be so hot in the morning, but now it should be okay. Good morning. This is a beautiful morning, as you can see in the background right now. I am at this location here. I've never been here before. Just gonna swerve around very little. It's a spot in our village in the forest, but it's a little bit elevated, so there the sun is rising. There were two eagles here, by the way. That's really cool. And so there you have the famous Rigi, where you can go up all the way with a train, and then there you have the Pilatus, and then if you don't know if you can zoom in all the way, you have there the Alps, and then you also have here a Baumschule, a tree school. I guess it's nothing more than a place where they plant trees and let them grow to sell them elsewhere. So it's really a beautiful day, a beautiful morning. I've been doing some bike rides early in the morning before work, just for health and exercise sake. And I have been doing that with this bike. It's a bike rental that someone kindly handed me over for a short period of time. I was able to use that bike now for a few weeks. And so this will also be a review about this bike. The bike's name is, I always thought Julia or Julia 25, but that's a newer model. This is the older model, since it's a bike rental. It's an older bike, older generation of the Julia 25, of the city type of bike. It's a little bit confusing, but the name or the code name is Vreni. That's a Swiss name, a typical Swiss name. This is gonna be a short review of the Vreni 25, although an older model. As you will see, it's very similar to the new Julia 25. I will mention the key differences from what I heard or what I've seen in the video as well. So let's dive into it. So let's look at the overall design. Let's try not to be distracted by the beautiful sunrise in the back. About the design of this bike, I think that's the main goal of the company, or the founders of the company, is to create bikes that are affordable yet beautiful or aesthetically nice. And so I think they've achieved that with this retro design. As you can see, it's modern fused together with very conventional or traditional forms from bikes before. You can see here the bike rack at the back. It looks like those bike racks before. Has those curves, and it seems very durable also. Don't mind the scratches. Again, that's a bike rental. You can see the load capacity is 18 kilos. I like it when they engrave it or they make it permanent on the bike rack, because you'll always forget and you want to know how much you want to put on the bike rack before it collapses. And you can see also the leather seat. So the leather seat is of course not typical for newer more modern models. You have here the handles. You see, it's I think it's a cork material. I'm thinking like the newer models have leather grips as well, not cork anymore, and it's vegan leather. I think it's a synthetic leather, so it's nothing derived or taken away from cows. And you can see their logo, Ego Movement, that's the name of the company. That I always thought ego in a sense of egoistic, and I didn't like it at all, but I found out that it's more likely that it's ego, so like e-bike, electronic bike, so it's ego, going away electronically. I'm assuming that's what they are trying to say with that. We ordered myself a bike because my bike broke down, and so I'm really excited for that, and then we got it from this company. And so let's get into the components of this bike. So let's start from the front. Let's look at the wheels first and foremost. I really like the wheels. They're big, round, and they have not street profile but a mixed off-road asphalt profile. I think you call them cross maybe. I don't see the branding anywhere, and I think that's also something. If you go to the website of this company, they're not so much into brands. You don't see any brands in their description, so you don't know are those good quality components or not. You have to trust them by their word that they make good bikes, Swiss quality bikes. I'm not so sure about that, we'll see. But I really like the tires, also the reflectors here, you know, so you're visible in the dark when you're crossing the road, especially on a crossing and a car comes from the side. At least they'll see you. That's a very good thing. Now let's get to the brakes. The brakes are Tektro brakes. I've been a bike expert, like really knew a lot about bikes and bike components 20 years ago, so I missed a lot in the meantime. I'm assuming Tektro is like a lower end to Shimano. We'll have to research that a bit. But these are Tektro disc brakes. They're okay. I mean, it's a city bike, it's not a racing bike. They're okay, they brake as they should. I guess even with my 90 plus kilos and the way I bike a little bit faster than the normal person maybe. So this brakes well enough. And then we have here a 7-speed Shimano Nexus gear shifter. Now it's a very special thing with this gear shifter, and let's have a look at the beautiful sunrise now. The very special thing, I've never seen that before. Maybe that used to be the case before, but even on newer bikes I haven't seen this. It's a mix out of the gearbox that, you know, that's internal to the wheel, and this lever here. I don't know the specific names, but usually in bikes, the way I knew it traditionally, it's either or. So either you have the gears inside or you have all these wheels outside, the 7 or whatnot wheels outside. And then when you have the 7 or, you know, gears outside, then you have this one here. So now it's like a mix of the internal plus this one, and it shifts really weird. That's one thing I can say. Sometimes I have to shift and then like pedal backwards, so that it will jump into gear. I hope they fix that in the newer model. Not sure what components, again it doesn't say in the website. I'm not sure what components are on the Julia 25, but that's really, I think, a problem with this Vreni 25. I'll mention now the key differences that the sales guy at the shop told me between the Julia 25 and the Vreni 25, which I miss. This one here is the number one. I've never seen such a thing, but I think it's really cool. It's a hydraulic seat post where you can set the height just with one hand. As you can see, I'm holding the camera with this hand, with the right hand, and just changing the height with the one hand. This bike is not made for bikers my size. That's the full height, and I'm 180 centimeters, 6 feet tall, and it's too small for me. So the highest position is not sufficient. So it's really made for smaller people or women. It's also made for women because of the seat post, of course, that's going down. That's usually considered the women's bike here in Switzerland. And the second thing that I really like that didn't make it to the newer models, apparently, is this bell. I really love this bell. Usually the bell is here or on the other side, and it's operated with your thumb. This one you operate it with your trigger finger or index finger together with a brake, and listen to the sound of it. Beautiful. It's so, I don't know, it just feels, I know it's just a bell, but it's important in Switzerland and when you're biking. And so that's really a nice thing. Hope they bring it back. I don't think my bike will have that. One thing also with the lights, the lights switch off automatically. You have to switch it on by, of course, switching on the bike first. And as you can see, it's a very simple display. And then after that, you have to long press the up button. And there you go, it's on. It's mandatory even at daytime in Switzerland to have your lights on for e-bikes. It's just a recent change. As you can see, it's not really strong. The lights doesn't really have to be because streets in Switzerland are well lit, so I think it's sufficient. The cool thing about the backlights, as you can see, it's just the lines on the side, and it has a big reflector, so even if the light shouldn't work, maybe the battery is at 0%, then you still have a huge reflector at the back just in case, although you will get a fine because your lights are off. And they switch off automatically. The newer model, like the bike I ordered, have a light sensor. I think it switches off when there's enough light, which is useless in Switzerland because it should be on all the time. Now let's get to the motor or the assistance. As you can see, I switched it on. That's long press here. It takes a while to switch it on, and sometimes I don't really get it. You have to switch it on even here at the battery. So this is the battery pack. Here's where you charge it. You have a keyhole here which you can unlock it and remove it and charge it at home. And then there's the RGB light. I guess every color has a code. I didn't get a manual to it, so I have no idea. Again, this is just an old bike model. They don't sell this version anymore, so I'm assuming there are a lot of things in common with the Julia, but this one, the Vreni, doesn't exist in this form anymore. And I hope they have a different display in the new Julia. They do have a display on the bike I ordered, and I'll make a nice long review or multiple videos of that new bike I ordered. So it's a Bafang. I don't know that brand. It's probably a lower end also than Bosch, maybe even, because really most of the e-bikes I know, they have Bosch motors or Shimano motors or Yamaha motors, but this Bafang I've never heard before. And as you can see, you have here the lines up and down where you can put the strength of the assistance. How much assistance do you want, from 5 grades, and the battery is 5 levels full. The display is not very readable in the dark, in bright conditions like now. You have to put your hand over it. And so the motor's a Bafang. What is it again? A Bafang M420. No idea. Again, I think the main focus of the company is really to give you bikes that just work. It's for people who are not interested in specs, numbers, or brand names. as long as it works, and it does make a durable, stable impression. Of course, only a long-term review will say if this bike is really as good as it seems like, if it's really, it earns the name Swiss made. Although I read that it's assembled in Germany and China. I hope the bike we ordered was assembled in Germany, because we do wish for a bike with the smallest carbon footprint, hence why we chose also this shop. And a short something about that, we are trying to be as eco-conscious as possible. Okay, so this is one way of doing that. You know, we could have bought a bike that was made in China, that was a brand from China, from the US. Even I was looking into bikes that were branded and made in the US and would have been shipped from the US. And my wife's bike, unfortunately, that was made and assembled, I think, also in China or Taiwan. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking straight back then. But now we do want to make purchases and support also, Swiss companies as much as possible. We want to support the companies that are local, where you have the smallest carbon footprint, from production to delivery, where, productions are being overseen with people who have a conscience and an idea of how to be eco-friendly. And I went to the Google Maps website and I checked out the reviews there, and they're mostly good, I think, or all good, 4 to 5 stars of 5 possible stars. And that's really something that says something about the company. People are happy with the service. What's unfortunate is I think the company is growing bigger than the capacity or what they can handle, because I emailed them about the bike and received a reply just, I think, 1 or 2 weeks later, and I already was in the process of purchasing the bike when they replied. It wasn't such a good service. I mean, it really took a while to reply to that mail, so I'm assuming they have a lot, they're overloaded with work. It can say something good about the company. They're growing. The bike we ordered, they're saying, it can take 1 to 3 months or even longer for us to receive the bike. So that's also inconvenient, because it's summer now, and by the time the bike arrives, it might be already snowing, it might be already winter. So, but yeah, we got, a bike rental. Thank you. Very thankful for that. At least we can do some tours with our family, and we're enjoying it really. Also, why we're doing that, with the whole bike thing, I mean, look at this. Isn't this worth just getting off the car and instead having some fresh air and biking, and instead of driving with a car and polluting the air and destroying nature, instead you're out in the nature, you're more connected to the nature, and you can feel the nature. And so that's why we are purchasing bikes, and we're transitioning now from cars to bikes. Not completely, we're using cars more for long range travels, but we want to minimize as much as possible. It's expensive with the gas prices now, so it's more interesting to use a bike than to use a car. So it really makes sense. That's what we are all about, in Family on a Mission. We're on a mission to help people to find ways to live a good life. And a good life means one side, the spiritual side, of course, and on the other side, the side that where we are made stewards of this planet. And yeah, so that's it for now. Short review. Hope you liked it. And the sun is up and I have to start to go to work. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.